Sumita, you may start now.
Good morning, respected Professor Ravi Khare, Dr. S.R. Singh, Chairman of the Expressions in Languages and Arts Foundation, Professor R.P. Singh, and all the members and audience who have joined us today on this beautiful morning of World Environment Day for a webinar on life and environment. World Environment Day is celebrated on 5th June every year and is the United Nations principal vehicle for encouraging awareness and action for the protection of our environment. The United Nations first started addressing the day 5th June as World Environment Day in 1974 for its flagship campaign for raising awareness on environmental issues, marine pollution, human overpopulation, global warming, sustainable consumption, and wildlife crime. Today, it has grown to become a global platform for public outreach where more than 140 countries participate annually each year through various NGOs, communities, corporations, governments, and celebrities around the world who advocate environmental cause. The Song of Expressions in Languages and Arts Foundation is being played here for your kind attention and reception. Expressions in Languages and Arts Foundation, Lucknow, today takes upon itself to celebrate World Environment Day in its own unique way. The foundation focuses its work in promoting research on Indian studies and Indology-related issues at national and international levels. It aims at compilation, translation, and conservation of different cultural texts in different Indian traditions. I would like to introduce the chairman of the foundation to you. Dr. Ravindra Pratap Singh is a professor of English at the Department of English and Modern European Languages, University of Lucknow. Professor Singh is an award-winning playwright, poet, and academician. He has 28 books, 108 research papers, 105 invited lectures, 103 presentations in conferences and seminars, 4 funded foreign assignments. To his credit, his writings are published from from leading international publications like Oxford University Press, Sage, Springer, Blackwell, Macmillan, ABC Clio, Warsaw University Press, New York Springer, M.E. Sharp Corporation, USA, LPP Publishing Columbia, and many more. As a creative writer, his plays, Flea Market and Other Plays, 2014, Ecologue, 2014, When Braco Flies, 2014, Shakespeare की सात रातें 2015, अंतर्द्वंद 2016, 14 फरवरी 2019, चैन कहाँ अब नैन हमारे 2018 have received critical acclaim and wide popularity. Banjaran, The News 2008, Cloud, Moon and a Little Girl 2017, Pathik and Prava 2016, and Nili Aankhon Wali Ladki 2017, Adventures of Funny and Bana 2018, The World of Mavi 2020, Two Violet Flowers 2020 represent his poetry. He is the recipient of 12 awards like Swami Vivekanand Youth Award Lifetime Achievement 2020, Mohan Rakesh Puraskar 2016, Saraswat Samman 2018, SM Sinha Smriti Awards 2017, and Bharatendu Harishchandra Award 2017 for his creative writing. Other awards conferred upon him include Shikshak Shri Samman, Government of UP 2015 for innovations in teaching and commendable contribution in higher education, Dr. Baba Sahib Prize for Excellence 2011, and Dr. Ambedkar Fellowship Award 2006. I now request the Chairperson, Expressions in Languages and Arts Foundation, Professor R.P. Singh, to kindly welcome our guests.
தமிழக அரசினால் அன்பாசிரியர் கனவாசிரியர் என்ற சிறந்த விருதுகளை பெற்றுள்ளார்.
Sumita, am I audible? Okay.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, Sumita, for inviting me to this event. As an elected chairman of Expressions in Language and Art Foundation, Lucknow, I welcome all the learned colleagues, scholars, resource persons, delegates who are joining us from across the barriers of time and climb. We have, I may see people joining us from UK, from Canada, from Australia, from some African countries, Indonesia, Yemen, etc., and very learned colleagues from our country across the states and territories. So before talking about any issue, I feel this appropriate to talk about what we are and what we want to do. This Ella Foundation that has its motto, Atmanam Gayam. It believes in the power of the self. It believes in creation with conviction. We here at Ella Foundation talk about different aspects of behavioral and human sciences. We talk about interdisciplinary perspective coming into light from any field of human life, human discourses, and across that disciplines. As far as the term, our motto, this is Atmanam Gayam is concerned, this is a famous statement from Indian knowledge tradition. We believe in the power of the self. May it be the concept of Asharful Makhlukat, may it be the concept of know thyself, may it be the concept of the power of the soul. So we try to ignite the ideas across the discipline. This is our venture, this is our thought. This is what the Ella Foundation does. We promote all type of creativity and we try to create a bridge among different disciplines across the human sciences. As far as it is concerned, the spiritual, what is Atma here in this concern? We are not talking about any pattern of religion. We are talking about the patterns of spirituality. Any immaterial aspect, any object that we are not watching across, that may come into the periphery, that may come into this domain of Atma here. So when someone, I talked to one of my friends from the discipline of literature that this is World Environment Day, let's talk something about the environment and its concern. And the gentleman, Pat, remarked that this is not my field. We are the scholars of literature, art, and culture. So this may be one argument, this may be one concern. But when we talk about environment is simply negotiation between your own self and the surrounding where you are operating, you are negotiating every time, every moment we are doing that thing. So this is what I, as a student of English, understand this thing. When we talk about environment in literary perspective, so we have the geographical environment, we have socio-cultural environment, we have social environment, we have psychological environment, many perspectives are there, many things are there. And when we as individual self associate ourselves with these territories, these trajectories of human life. We get something like inspiration, we get feeling, we get emotions, we get passion, we get animation, intensity, anything like we can you can see the eagerness, the warmth, the energy, the vitality, everything that comes into our active trajectories of thought, behavior, and patterns that may come into this. We um, we can say, we can think from this perspective also, that environment is not only the field of the scholars who are working in the field of science, who are working in the field of technology. This morning I have written a poem on that. You can if I want to read a poem on this issue. I wrote some lines on environment and are concerned there. This is splashes a drop, so still, virtuous and crystalline, bonum so tender to be seen, petals eager to embrace, a brash cloud so comes stern, it dries the innocent swig, the self anguished. A sigh soars up higher, yet it is quipped, muffled, and mined, the barriers so hard. Hey, the eternal source of our souls, our own fetters we have made, the air eschewed and the water logged, and so it iterates. It is the earth, our own home. So, on behalf of the members of this Expressions in Languages and Art Foundation, I wish all of you a very happy World Environment Day, and I welcome very serious scholars, two resource persons, Professor Ravi Khare sir, who is, I have known him for last 25, more than 25 years, and I rate him as one of the best professors of environmental sciences and chemistry across the globe. Professor S.R. Singh Saab, who is also a well-known figure in the field of environment and ecology. So welcome. I welcome all the delegates who have joined us from across the states, countries, and I hope that this webinar today will bring some fruitful sensitivity for us, because this day, environmental day, the world environment day, is not only for celebration. We have to go in the introspective mood, we have to go in the prospective mood, we have to think what we have done the whole year past and what we plan to do in the coming year. So with this intention, I request the learned resource persons to make this a fruitful deliberation. Thank you. Once again, I wish very happy Environment Day to the colleagues, the learned scholars joining us from across the trajectories. Thank you so much. Sumita, over to you now.
Thank you, sir. An important announcement: the organizers would like you to mute your mics and also turn your phone into rotation mode and in landscape mode. You're also requested to make use of the leave meeting option on the top right corner of your screens in case you wish to leave the seminar midway. We will be posting the link for the feedback form in the chat box of the Zoom meeting, the comment section of YouTube, and in the WhatsApp group during the course of the meeting. You are requested to make use of it. Our first speaker for the morning is Professor Dr. Ravi Khare, Professor of Chemistry at the Department of Applied Sciences, Babu Banarsi Das Engineering College, Lucknow. Sir has worked as a Professor of Chemistry at Babu Banarsi Das Northern India Institute of Technology, Lucknow, since July 2010. With almost 10 publications, Sir has a 6-year experience at Central Drug Research Institute, Lucknow, a teaching experience of 28 years, and is a lifetime member of Indian Association of Solid State Chemistry and Allied Scientists. The topic for his talk today is Importance of Life and Environment and Dependency on Each Other. Over to you, sir.
अच्छा वो वाला मोबाइल
Whether has Sir heard us?
May I start?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Please
okay.
start.
Good morning, Chairman, ELA Foundation, Professor R.P. Singh ji, Secretary ELA, Mr. Kushwant Singh ji, Convener of the webinar, Mr. Dr. Tariq ji, and all the member of Organizing Committee, ELA Foundation. A very good morning to all of you participating in this webinar of great topic, life and environment. I congratulate the organizers for selecting this topic on this historical day, that is World Environment Day. Really, it's very great. This topic is a message in itself to all of us. As Professor Singh said, it is a power of self. Life and environment is directly connected to power of self. Really is great. I start from life, then I will come to environment. In my point of view, these two things, but you can say these two words anyway, these are complementary of each other. No existence of anyone without other. Life depends on environment depends on life. On life. What is life and how long it is from? When Earth was born, there was no life on it. I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. When Earth was born, there was no life on it. This is because that there was no ozone layer present. You know that ozone layer filters the dangerous ultraviolet rays, protecting life on Earth. Now you can understand the value of ozone layer, its care and protection. It needs great attention from us. Earth, it was surrounded by methane, ammonia, hydrogen, and water. And you may be surprised to know that the mixture of these compounds can be converted to life generating compounds by an electrical discharge. This results there was life on Earth, but due to the presence of ultraviolet rays, life cannot survive under ultraviolet rays. Life, it was limited only to deep sea water where UV rays cannot penetrate. Gradually, because of photochemical reactions, ozone was formed and it started filtering the dangerous ultraviolet rays, making life on Earth possible. And now we are on Earth. This is life. Earth is the beautiful planet that supports life. Means every one of us enjoying the same global environmental citizenship. These are many things, beautiful things on the earth. There are many beautiful things, many beautiful things present on the earth. We can enjoy, we can nurturing life. Mother Earth is blessed with thousands of perennial rivers that supply us water to quench our thirst. An atmosphere that supplies oxygen for our survival. A natural ozone umbrella that protects us from dangerous UV rays, and so many things available on the earth by the courtesy of nature. Nature has capacity to convert waste gases like carbon dioxide to oxygen by photosynthesis with the help of trees. Now you can understand the importance of trees. Man is the most beautiful of all God's creation. There are many poets, many lines, many quotes related to earth, environment, beautiful scenario. I may quote George Gordon, great Shakespeare, had written many beautiful lines on it. There are many poets who have quoted many times in very different ways regarding the earth and its environment. Now we come to environment. We use word environment. Do we really understand the meaning of environment? Environment is a broad term which means the surroundings that influence the development and growth of mankind. So it is very important to save our environment in all best way as we can. Environment conservation is the axis for the economic well-being and the peaceful existence of humanity on the surface of the earth. But importance of environment has not been realized by the people. So it is our duty to conserve, to care, to protect environment by all the best means possible by us. It is our responsibility. This is very alarming and needed our attention towards safe environment. The last, the fast development of science and technology, which resulted in the establishment of a good number of variety of industries and provided us sophisticated living style. But we are paying its cost by terms of polluting environment. Is it true? No. Should we stop this? Answer is yes, absolutely yes. Of all the problems man is facing today, a big one is air pollution. Availability of water, especially drinking water, is major crisis coming in the near future. Another form of major pollution that affects the physiological and psychological well-being of a person is noise pollution. Noise pollution is major pollution which affects mostly to the cardiac patient and the pregnant ladies. Reason forests are being destroyed day by day, plants or trees are properly not cared. Every year, more than 10 million trees are cut to cater to our demand for paper. And we should control the cut of paper. We should save trees, plants on the earth because trees are responsible to provide us a very clean air conversion of carbon dioxide. It helps conversion of carbon dioxide oxygen by the process of photosynthesis. A very good thing today I am remembering, if you plant for a year, plant a rice. If you plant for the years, plant trees. But if you plant for century, educate the people. So we must educate the people about environment to protect the human race and the planet Earth. But we used to say pollution, pollution everywhere. Man is safe nowhere. We must find a solution somewhere. We always go through these lines, but why we are going to these lines? It is our responsibility, our duty to care about environment, to save environment by all possible means which we can do. There are major issues relating conservation of forest, prevent of trees, plantation of trees. Today, in this webinar, nature is supporting you by showering. It's very good symptom that we are doing very good in all the way. In the last, environment consciousness is not a new concept for Indian. You must remember in Kautil Arthashastra, it was stated that the stability of an empire is dependent upon the stability of the environment. The importance of protection of environment needs to overemphasize. In our country, it stated from Vedic times If we go through Earthved, we find, O Earth, pleasant by the hills and snow-clad mountains and thy woodlands. On the earth, brown, black, ruddy, and all colors, the fur earth. These are two translated lines from Earthved, which I quote for the reference in our young generations. It is duty of ours, it is responsibility of all of us to protect our beautiful environment from pollution and seek methods to control it by the various methods, by the preserving, conserving of forest, trees, plantation. We plant a tree, but we don't care. By watering, we care. By nourishing our plant, nourishing our tree, we care. In last, I remember the lines of Mahatma Gandhi. He said, Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. With these lines, I wish you all very happy Environment Day and safe environment. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you for the informative discourse, sir. I now hand over the mic to Ms. Anukriti. Anukriti, we cannot hear you. Unmute yourself.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Sumedha. Our next speaker for the morning is Dr. Surya Raj Singh. Sir is a consultant at GICA IDP and former Executive Director, State HRD and Chief Engineer, UP Jal Nigam. He retired as Chief Engineer of UP Jal Nigam after 38 years of rich experience in planning, designing, executing and maintaining water supply, sewage and river pollution prevention works. Along with the extensive background of implementing capacity building and community participation interventions, assisted by the state, central government, and international organizations like UNICEF and World Bank. He has also served as an executive engineer, superintending, and chief engineer of UP Jal Nigam and executed successfully WSS project that includes urban waste and sewage schemes of Jaunpur, Varanasi, lake pollution control works of Naini Lake at Nainital, Ganga pollution control works under Ganga action plans at Kanpur, urban waste management based schemes at Lucknow, and water supply and sewage treatment plant at Ayodhya and Faizabad under UIDSSMT, Amrut, and several other schemes of the state and the government of India, in addition to the World Bank. Dr. Singh has assisted Nirmal Neer at Baharaich in Gonda district. He has a rich experience in the field of water management. And today he shall share his views and experience with us on life and environment. Now I hand it over to you, Dr. S.R. Singh, sir. Over to you, sir. Sir, can you hear me? Dr. S.R. Singh, sir.
I think there is some connectivity issue. Okay, so please wait. I'm trying to connect with him.
Okay. Okay, sir.
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है, आप प्लीज थोड़ा सा माइक अपने पास लेके आए सर।
आपके हेडफोन में ये जो इधर माइक है, ये वाले माइक को अगर आप अपने पास लेकर आएंगे तो थोड़ा सा आवाज आपकी आ जाएगी।
सर आप ईयरफोन निकाल दीजिए, डायरेक्टली फोन पे बोलिए। आप ईयरफोन फोन से हटा दीजिए।
हेलो।
हाँ जी सर, अब आ रही है आपकी आवाज़।
हेलो हेलो।
जी सर, आपकी आवाज़ आ रही है, आप बोल सकते हैं सर।
हेलो।
यस सर, वी कैन हियर यू। आप बोलिए सर, आपकी आवाज आ रही
There
है।
was some network problem probably, yeah.
ओके, नाउ इट इज ओके सर, वी कैन हियर यू।
हेलो।
यस सर, आपकी आवाज आ रही है सर, आप प्लीज शुरू करें, आप कंटिन्यू करें सर।
हेलो।
यस सर, वी कैन हियर यू।
हेलो। हेलो।
हेलो।
Now am I audible?
सर आपकी आवाज आ
यस
रही
सर,
है।
आपकी आवाज आ रही है सर।
यस सर, यस सर।
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hello. Good morning to everybody. I congratulate you on World Environment Day 2020. You know the theme of this day is celebrate biodiversity, and this is very important topic, no doubt. What you have selected today, that is life and environment. But before explaining anything on this topic, we have to clearly understand what the life is, what the environment is, how is the relationship between life and environment. Actually, I am not seeing face of anybody, so I am feeling a bit difficult in explaining myself. If you, hello, hello,
Yes,
hello,
sir.
यस
Yes,
सर, यू
sir.
कैन सी अस नाउ।
hello.
आपकी
Hello.
आवाज आ
Yes,
रही है
sir.
सर, आप प्लीज कंटिन्यू करें।
Hello.
सर आप कंटिन्यू करें, आपकी आवाज आ रही है।
Okay, okay, okay. I'm audible now.
Yes, sir.
Well, as far as the topic is concerned, this is the life and environment. This is the topic, and this is very crucial, very important topic, no doubt. We understand because it has been very differently in different places. But what our Vedanta says, what our Upanishads say, that life is body. Hello.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes sir, you can continue your audio. Your video, your internet speed is not good. That's why we have paused your video. You can continue the audio. there's some major issue with the problem with SR connections. So we'll continue. We'll play the anthem of Villa Foundation in the meantime, and in the meantime, we'll check if we can connect back to this.
सृजन करते करते
Yeah, I think so. Is back.
Yes, sir.
हम मिले सृजन पथ पर चलते हम मिले सृजन करते करते हम मिले सृजन पथ पर चलते हम मिले सृजन करते करते सत्य सृजन है नश्वर जग में आओ सृजन करें आओ सृजन करें आओ सृजन करें आओ सृजन करें आओ सृजन करे, आओ सृजन करे।
Because of some technical snag, we have lost connection with Dr. S.R. Singh. We request your patience for a little while we try and establish connection with him.
You can start now.
Due to connection issues, sir is not able to join us. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So sir has sent us his message. So I'm going to share his message. The effect that humanity is having on the environment is becoming ever more important. Through our actions, we are destroying habitats and endangering the lives of future generations. At this point, there is no denying the fact that our environment is changing. Hundreds of studies have been conducted to demonstrate that this is happening and it is having an effect on life around us. However, many may be unaware of the specific issues that have led to these changes. So the terms like climate change and genetic modifications are commonplace, but without additional information, it is difficult to see why they actually matter. To complicate the matter, many of these issues are linked to one another. Here his paper examines the biggest environmental problems facing our planet today and why they should matter to us. He talks about genetic modification of crops. Environmental issues caused by man-made chemicals are becoming clearer. For example, there has been 90% reduction in the monarch butterfly population in the United States that can be linked to weed killers that contain glyphosate. There is also some speculation that genetically modified plants may leak chemical compounds into soil through their roots, possibly affecting communities of microorganisms. Next, it talks about water production. The average person produces 4.3 pounds of waste per day. with the United States alone accounting for 220 million tons per year. Much of this waste ends up in landfills, which generates enormous amounts of methane. Not only does this create explosion hazards, but methane also ranks as one of the worst of the greenhouse gases because of its high global warming potential. Another point, he talks about population growth. Many of the issues listed here results from the massive population growth that Earth has experienced in the last century. The planet's population grows by 1.13% per year, which works out to 80 million people. This results in a number of issues such as a lack of fresh water, habitat loss of wild animals, overuse of natural resources, and even species extinction. This matter is particularly damaging as the planet is now losing up to 30,000 species per year. Next, his paper talks about water pollution. So fresh water is crucial to life on Earth, he says, yet more sources are being polluted through human activities each year. On a global scale, 2 million tons of sewage, agricultural and industrial waste enter the world's water every day. Water pollution can even have harmful effects outside of contamination of the water we drink. It also disrupts marine life, sometimes altering reproductive cycles and increasing the mortality rates. Next issue he talks about is deforestation. The demands of an increasing population has resulted in increasing level of deforestation. Current estimates state that the plant is losing 80,000 acres of tropical forest per day. This results in loss of habitat for many species, placing many at risk and leading to large-scale extinction. Furthermore, deforestation is estimated to produce 15% of the world's greenhouse gas emission. Next topic he talks about is urban sprawl. The continued expansion of urban areas into traditionally rural regions is not without its problems. Urban sprawl has been linked to environmental issues like air and water pollution increases in addition to the creation of heat islands. Satellite images produced by NASA have also shown how urban sprawl contributes to the forest fragmentation, which often leads to larger deforestation. Other point he talks about is overfishing. It is estimated that 63% of global fish stocks are now considered overfished. This has led to many fishing fleets heading to new waters, which will only serve to deplete fish stocks further. Overfishing leads to a misbalance of ocean life, severely affecting natural ecosystems in the process. Furthermore, it has also had its negative effect on coastal communities that rely on fishing to support their economy. The most important factor, one of the most important factor he talks about is acid rain. Acid rains comes as a result of air pollution, mostly through chemicals released into the environment when fuel is burned. Its effects are most clearly seen in aquatic ecosystems, where increasing acidity in the water can lead to animals' death. It also causes various issues for trees. Though it does not kill trees directly, acid rain does weakens them by damaging leaves, poisoning the trees, and limiting their available nutrients. The other important factor he talks about is ozone layer depletion. The ozone depletion is caused by the release of chemicals, primarily chlorine and bromide, into the atmosphere. A single atom of either has the potential to destroy thousands of ozone molecules before leaving the stratosphere. Ozone depletion results in more ultraviolet radiations reaching the Earth's surface. Ultraviolet radiations has been linked to skin cancer and eye disease. Along with it, that it affects the plant life and has been linked to a reduction of phytoplankton in marine environment. Ocean acidification is also a cause due to the environmental degradation. Ocean is being made acidic. Ocean acidification is the term used to describe the continued lowering of the pH level of the Earth's ocean as a result of carbon dioxide emissions. It is estimated that ocean acidity will increase by 150% by 2000. I mean, its efforts aren't made to halt it. This increase in acidification can have dire effects on calcifying species such as shellfish. This causes issues throughout the food chain and may lead to reductions in aquatic life that would otherwise not be affected by acidification. Other most important issues he talks about is air pollution. So air pollution is becoming an increasingly dangerous problems, particularly in heavily populated cities. The World Health Organization has found that 80% of people living in urban areas are exposed to air quality levels, demands unfit by the organization. It is also directly linked to the other environmental issues such as acid rain and eutrophication. Animals and humans are also at risk of developing a number of health problems due to air pollution. One of the other factors is lower biodiversity. Continued human activities and expansion had led to lower biodiversity. A lack of biodiversity means that future generations will have to deal with increasing vulnerability of plants to pests and fewer sources of fresh water. Some studies have even found that the lower biodiversity has as pronounced as an impact as climate change and pollution on ecosystems, particularly in areas with higher amount of species extinction. It also affects the nitrogen cycle. With most of the focus being placed on the carbon cycle, the effect of human use of nitrogen often slips under the radar. It is estimated that agriculture may be responsible for half of the nitrogen fixation on Earth, primarily through the use and production of man-made fertilizers. Excess level of nitrogen in water can cause issues in marine ecosystems, primarily through overstimulation of plants and algae growth. This can result in blocked intakes and less light getting to deeper waters, damaging the rest of the marine population. Other issues his paper talks about is natural resource use. Recent studies have shown that humanity uses so many natural resources that we could meet almost 1.5 Earths to cover our needs. This is only set to increase as industrialization continues in nations like China, India, America, and other European countries. Increased resources used is linked to a number of other environmental issues such as air pollution and population growth. Over time, the depletion of these resources will lead to an energy crisis, along with the chemicals emitted to many natural resources are strong contributors to climate change. Transportation is the other factor, I mean, which has been, which has been included by the depletion of environment, is that the transportation is a cause ever growing, which is an ever growing population needs is transportation that must, which is fueled by the natural resources that emit greenhouse gases such as petroleum. In 2014, transportation accounted for 26% of all greenhouse gas emissions. It has also contributed to the range of other environmental issues such as the destruction of natural habitats and increase in the air pollution. The melting of polar ice caps is a continuous one, while NASA studies have shown that the amount of ice in Antarctica is actually increasing. These rises only amount to a third of what is being lost in the Arctic. There is strong evidence to suggest that sea levels are rising, with the Arctic ice caps melting being a major contributor. Over time, this could lead to extensive flooding, contamination of drinking water, and major changes in ecosystems. And finally, his paper talks about climate change. That the majority of the issues previously listed contributed or are in any way linked to the climate change. Statistics created by NASA state that global temperature has risen by 1.7 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880, which is directly linked to the reduction in Arctic ice of 13.3% per decade. The effect of climate change are widespread, as it will cause issues with deforestation, water supplies, oceans, and ecosystems. Each of these have widespread implications of their own, marking climate change as a major environmental issues the planet facing today. And with these words, I wind up the paper of Dr. S.R. Singh, sir, which I read on his behalf as he was unable to connect the webinar due to some internet issues, connection issues.
Thank you, Anukriti. Taking this opportunity in continuation with the talks that our learned speakers have delivered today, and Anukriti, who read a paper on behalf of Dr. S.R. Singh, I take this opportunity to intimate you about a study conducted under Professor R.P. Singh on the topic Environment and Folklore on the Construct and Trajectories of Awadhi Baramasa. Baramasa, as we all know, is a literary form found in Hindi and its different dialects. The ploy of Baramasa is the description of the season that offers a poetic rendition of the separation of the lover from the beloved and provides a narration of the effect of separation on different working patterns and thoughts of the protagonists. The vision and personalities of the characters emerge as the meta theme here, with many subsidiary allusions and insertions in different contexts. In Baramasa, generally, the man is shown busy in performing his business or job at a place far away from home. The characteristics of the seasons work as the catalyst in affecting the psyche of the woman protagonist. This is a familiar theme that we have also seen in a lot of movies that used to be, in the movies of the 60s and the 70s. Towards the female protagonist here associates herself with nature. She translates her anxiety, separation, and the good past days spent in union through the rhymes of Baramasa. As a literary form, Baramasa is found in Hindi and in different dialects. In the ploy of the description of the season, it offers a poetic rendition of the separation of the lover from the beloved and provides a narration of the effect of separation on different working patterns and thoughts of the protagonist. The vision and personalities of the characters emerge as the meta theme here, with many subsidiary allusions and insertions in different contexts. In Indian literature, particularly, the seasons are often depicted in two literary forms, the Rituvarna and the Baramas. The condition of togetherness and union of the lover and the beloved is represented in the form of Rituvarna, and that of the separation finds words in the verses of Baramas. In Rituvarna, the poet divides the year into 3 or 6 time slots as the circle of the different Ritus in Hindi, and in Baramasa, the characteristics is of the 12 months of the year that are put in sync with the mood and the behavior of the narrator. The narrative of the Baramasa expresses the correlation of seasons and the psyche. In Baramasa, generally, the man is shown busy in performing his business or job at a place far away from home. The characteristics of the seasons work as a catalyst in the psyche of the woman. She associates herself with nature. She associates her anxiety, her separation from her partner, and the good days that she spent with him with Baramasa. The folklore in general records the traditions, knowledge, and the lore of the people who have been conventional in their working, having an agrarian vision of life. The common folk have been moving from their places to industrial towns in search of a job in between two crops, and sometimes for a longer time to earn cash from industrial times to maintain a healthy balance in the family economy. The folk and rural economy is mostly based on agriculture, animal husbandry, and cottage industries towards maintaining a proper balance in Purushastra, the Dharma, the Arth, the Karma, and the Moksha, as suggested by traditional Hindu scriptures. The socio-economic matrix often brings many instances where separation and longing come forward. Baramasa is a unique narration touching upon the reverberations of the human psyche, social economic condition of the habitat, cultural background and sanctions, and the blossoming of human love in the mirage of a labyrinth of man, society, and money. Over the centuries in Indian folk and literary cultures, it has been noteworthy tradition showing the intricate pattern of the impact of the base on the ideological superstructure. The narration of Paramasa depicts the circularity of the Indian concept of time. Indian concept of time is circular, whereas the Western concept of time is linear. The circle of time moves on its own axis with its own pace. It is Kal as described in the Indian Puranic literature. Under this circle, human beings have their own course of work, rituals and ceremonies and celebrations of everything. Even in Indian culture, we have celebrations over everything. We have folk literature, folk songs, folk dances on even the small celebrations of human life, like the cutting of crops, the sowing of crops, the songs that are sung during the sowing of crops, etc. In a way, our folklore shapes and builds us and molds us according to the traditions. The circle of pleasure and pain moves on. Time seldom waits for our pace, and it is our endeavors, management, and fortune that brings it to sync. The approved pace of time gives vent to happy note in literature, and the adverse state naturally bears gloomy signs. The Baramasa represents the same circle and relationship of human beings. I beg your pardon. Of human beings, which reflect the feeling of association, the meeting of the lover and the beloved, but most of them express the phase of separation. Separation affects not only the soul, but its vibes also reach the universe, and the clash that is shown in the lyrics of the songs or the folk literature that we associate with, or that has been given to us. The Baramasa emerges more as a woman's narrative. Sometimes the state of separation creates a hallucination-like situation in the lives of the woman pining for her lover. The state of hallucination becomes even more hysteric, which creates even the scope for whims, fancies, and fictions. On the constructive nature of women narratives, the following statement by Fozia Vijagri hold significance in the context of Varamasa. If women narratives are partly fictions, they include stories set by the narratives within which their lives are intertwined. Indian women's voices seem still very much present in post-colonial literature, certainly more audible than ever. They need to claim their right to exist and have to clear a psychic space for themselves. They can afford to be not only parodic but playful and highly sophisticated as well. The texts of Baramasa create many a web like these. The longing of the man creates many totems and many imaginary things come visible to the psyche of the protagonist. In the folk sensibility, I'm sure that Baramasa has the traces of its origin from the very time immemorial. Whenever two lovers separate from each other, the longing is natural. The record of the longing can prepare the text. In documented literature, the beginning of this genre may be traced to Bizaldeo Raso in the early Adipal of the history of Hindi literature. Paramasa is the song of the graceful land with all its melodious sounds and sweet aspirations. It shows the philosophy of human life where the contentment is satisfaction. Whenever I have done a survey of literature, I found some texts of Paramasa that offer the note of ecofeminism in their connotations. The feelings of the narrating woman get synchronized with the feelings of the Mother Earth. The following lines of an unpublished Paramasa quoted. Jiara Vyakul Manwa Vyakul, Kian Hamar Bhuvan Matari, Pir Hamare Tav Vides, Base Hain, Dharti Mataho Hain Dukhiari. The woman protagonist here says that her heart and mind both are depressed. She finds the same condition of the Mother Earth. Her partner is busy in work on a far-off place, ignoring the longings and separations of a life together. So she expresses herself. She finds herself awe-stricken in her speech towards the plight of Mother Earth and wonders. The statement of Irene Gloria holds importance here. We find that through poetry, rituals, and social activism that connected the devastation of the earth with the exploitation of women, these activists reinvigorated both feminism and social change movements more generally. The languages they created reached across and beyond the boundaries of previously defined categories. These languages recognize the lived connections between reasons and emotion, thought and experience. They embraced not only women and women of different races, but all forms of life, other animals, plants, and reframing led to a new, more complicated experimental ethic of ecological interconnectedness. Today, talking of today's scenario, the plight of the woman that she expresses and connects with the plight of Mother Earth is not that good. Here, she finds association with Earth. The longing partner never subscribes the idea of materialism. The company of a man is better than any kind of richness. Indian folklore echoes the patterns of Indian philosophy and shows special purpose in life, and that is spiritual purpose. Accumulating material avenues and resources in such a worldview is rather secondary. There is a need to record and translate an endangered tradition of Baramasa into English. It will help in communicating the rich folk cultural tradition of India to those who are unaware of its richness and glory, which is unfortunately being maligned by the sinister forms of cultural colonialism. It will help in communicating the rich cultural tradition to the foreign lands, along with communicating it with those who willingly or perchance fail to taste and relish the folk flavor. The folk tradition has been, for some strange reasons, curbed and stunted by the writers of cultural and literary rulebooks. But it has always maintained its flow and force and has provided a base for the elitist literary tradition. Baramasa is not an extinguished genre, but it is smitten only with mini discourses. With the flow of time, it has remained to change the course of engaging reality. I find the following statement by Sukrita Paul Kumar et al. Appropriate in this context when they write, since language and literary traditions emerged from specific historical and political points of reference, they have to be studied from within their constantly changing cultural frames and not in isolation. The boundaries drawn between various disciplines in academia then have to shed their rigidity and make space for a relatively more comprehensive view of lived reality. It is true regarding the Indian folklore, which promises to offer references in almost every fold of human knowledge. Thank you for your patience. I now hand over the mic to Mr. Kulwant Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Medha. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. On the occasion of this World Environment Day, I would like to share some points on this occasion. Now, we all know that the world today is faced with many ecological crises, and the natural calamities of different kinds can be witnessed off and on in different parts of the world in the form of earthquakes, drought, floods, drying of rivers, excessively high temperature, and so on. We are also faced with the problem of air and water pollution caused by industries. Now, I would say that in spite of many regulations by the governments in different parts of the world, we cannot find anything concrete that can we see that we can witness that the environment has improved. The situation remains more or less the same. And I would also like to say that it is not only the governments whom we can blame for their policies. The onus is on us also as humans to take care of nature, respect nature, and coexist with it and not to tamper with it. Because it is we humans who have been exploiting this environment for decades just to achieve our riches and materialist comforts. Hence, this is a result of it. Now, in the current scenario, I would like to place an example that proves that how we have acted as spoilers to the environment. Looking at the condition of this corona lockdown, now with the advent of corona and the subsequent lockdown, what we could witness was that although, of course, with due regards to the sufferings of millions of people who have suffered worldwide due to this in the form of loss of life or health, what we can also witness is that nature has started rejuvenating itself automatically. Okay, now I mean there was no human intervention, no cleanliness drive took place, and what we could see was, it was like a sigh of relief for nature, and it got a chance to rejuvenate itself. And we have also witnessed through in social media and the news many such pleasurable scenes where we have seen that the river water is purifying. It was very clean. The pollution level had declined drastically, and we could see wild animals on the road moving around freely, and many such things. The dolphins in the seas playing around. So, and I think we all have enjoyed these scenes. But the thing is that all this perhaps could have served others a lesson, a reminder that if we wish to see such scenes and such greenery and a very positive environmental situation in future, it is we who need to take responsibility of it and try to learn and try to coexist with nature. Now, what the thing is now, as the lockdown is opening slowly, we all will again go back to our uh, uh, regular routines, and again we'll start tampering with nature. But at this point of time, I would like to say that when we say that that corona is going to stay here for say a year or two, or perhaps, and we have to start living with it. then I would also like to point out that, okay, agreed that Corona is here for a couple of years. We have to live with it. We have to adjust according to it and take necessary precautions. But the environmental, this problem, this crisis, it has been continuing for decades, for the past few decades, and it will continue. It is here to stay unless we humans try and understand the situation, try to respect nature. Okay, and as individuals we take this responsibility that we have to keep our surroundings clean and our environment pure, and not start tampering with it again when we go back to our normal routines. Also, I would like to say that at times we feel that there is lack of guidance, that who is there to guide us in this regard, how to deal with our environment and nature. Although we are, of course, we all are aware enough, because at times we find different guidelines, maybe in the media, that how we need to take care of nature and live with it. But here I would like to reiterate or reinstate one very important point, that we as Indians and as humans worldwide, we are blessed with our scriptures, who have thrown enough of light in this regard, that how we should we should live with nature, or how nature should be treated as. But the thing is that we have just treated religion as a higher power, and we have ignored the preachings of it. So it is time that we need to step back and reinterpret what is there in our scriptures. We are really blessed to have such scriptures, the Vedas, the Quran, the Bible, the Guru Granth Sahib, and all these scriptures give many such insights of how we can deal with nature. It's just about that we have to reinterpret it, and not just consider religion as a custom and follow the customary traditions that we have been following for years. So now here, when I would also like to say that when we say that a small virus, which is totally invisible, when and it has brought us down to our knees. Okay, it has caused terror in us, that we are taking so much of precautions. But on the other side, we haven't realized that if nature starts showing its wrath regularly, although at times very often we are witnessing different kinds of cyclones, floods, earthquakes. Even in the recent past, we witnessed those. But but still, they are still occasional. Now, I would say that if nature, it starts showing its wrath and anger very frequently, we will have no place to hide. We will have no place to go, and we will not be able to lead a good life. So it is high time that we should realize, take insights from our religious heritage and our scriptures, and take insights from them and try to lead a life which is environment friendly. We need to respect environment. We need to see the image of God in the environment and in nature. Here I'm reminded of a saying by Hubert Reeves. He said that man is the most insane of all species. He worships the invisible God and destroys nature, which in itself is a representation of God. So I was really very inspired by this quote, and it was like, and I think it is time that we all should take a pledge today, that how we have to live our life with future in future with the environment, because what we sow today, that is only we are going to reap. And what activities and what good acts we do today, that are going to benefit our future generations. So if we want our generations to lead a good life, an environment and a healthy life, and a very environment friendly life, so we will have to take efforts today. We will have to make such efforts today, so that we can give them a good future. And again, I would again reiterate on this point, that we have our religious heritage, our scriptures with us, and every scripture, mentions in details about the importance of environment and how to lead an environment-friendly life and how to coexist with this. So what I would say is that it is time that we should, we take a pledge, consider environment, because environment is not because of us. Okay, if environment is there, if nature is there, we are able to survive. Environment does not need us to survive. In a way, we are like a virus to this nature. who is troubling them off and on. So it is for us to take inspiration from many such things, from our scriptures, from different readings, and take a pledge that we are going to lead a very good life, a very environment-friendly life, and also learn to coexist with nature without tampering it much unnecessarily in the name of development. That is all I have to share over here. And we are coming towards the end of the seminar. So,
thank you.
Please take over.
Thank you, Mr. Kulwant Singh, the Secretary of Expressions and Languages in Arts Foundation. I would once again request Mr. Kulwant Singh to formally address for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Anukriti. On behalf of the members of Expressions in Languages and Arts Foundation, the chairman, Professor R.P. Singh, and my own behalf, I express my gratitude to our guest speakers, Professor Ravi Khare and Dr. S.R. Singh, for gracing the occasion and enlightening us with their views. I also thank the delegates from across the world, the country and abroad, for their interest in this webinar. I hope you all had a takeaway from this event. I wish to convey my thanks to the print and electronic media for devoting their time. I am equally grateful to our chairman, Professor R.P. Singh, for his expert guidance in organizing this event. And on behalf of the foundation, I express my deep gratitude to the members of the organizing committee, our convener, Dr. Mohammad Tariq, the organizing secretary, Mr. Veduri Jain, and co-conveners, Sumedha Devedi and Anukriti Raj, for all their valuable efforts that they have put in for this e-seminar. Thank you. It's over to you, Anukriti.
Now we will play the anthem song of the foundation, written and composed by Professor R.P. Singh and sung by Ms. Tulika Ghosh.
आत्मा की शक्ति अनंत है, आत्म चेतना
Anupriti, over to you.
Sumedha, I think Anupriti has lost connection. You please continue.
This
Yeah, continue.
am I
Yeah, you're
audible?
audible. Yes.
This brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you all for your presence. I hope we were able to sensitize you towards the importance of environmental conservation in our lives. We have posted the link for the feedback forms in the chat box of the Zoom meeting, in the comment section of YouTube, and in the WhatsApp group. Now the webinar is formally over. Thank you and have a nice day.